The myth of wage slavery. Communists and socialists often compare wages, that is, being paid hourly or salaried by an employer, to slavery. The reason why they call it slavery is they believe that having to work as a non-owner employee is forced onto people due to capitalism. Communists and socialists believe that, if not for private ownership over the means of production, individuals would always have shared ownership in a company and be given an equal proportion of earnings, or at least be given a lot more than they're given now. The problem with this framework is that communists and socialists misrepresent what employment is and the comparatives for choice in work. When someone chooses to work for an employer, they do so because their desire for work at an hourly rate is greater than the alternatives. No one is forced to work for any employer outright. Rather, each person chooses to take on a job because they choose to not take on another type of work where they have shared ownership. There is no law which currently prohibits any person from either starting a business with shared ownership or prohibits participation in any shared ownership scheme. So when economic leftists complain about a lack of opportunity, they cannot point to a legal prohibition on pooling resources to create a shared profit company. This is why they will often pivot and say that the capitalist employer is stealing the full value of a worker's labor by hoarding profits and only paying wages to an employee because of a power disparity. But this is also a mischaracterization. Employees are not responsible for the business vision and capital outlay that creates a business. Entrepreneurs build businesses by selecting a market-valued product and/or service offering and offer up their resources to create a business that can afford to pay employees wages. So, when employees earn a wage, they are getting a piece commensurate with their market-valued effort in total picture of costs for operation. An employee is not responsible for all business debts, liabilities, and maintenance, which is why an employee can quit and go work for another employer without being in debt for business expenses. If an employee had both the resources and the business vision, they would not need an employer, as they could go and start a business themselves. What truly keeps people from starting their own business and competing is government regulations and taxes. When the government picks winners and losers, that is how we end up in an environment where it becomes difficult for people to start their own business due to licensing and artificial restrictions on entry. With taxes, the government forces people to earn dollars specifically to pay those taxes. Regardless of these government barriers, many may still choose employment in exchange for wages to maintain a certain lower level of responsibility and lower risk that is more comfortable for their living situation, especially if they do not want the 24/7 demands an owner has to keep a business up and running. So no, earning wages is not slavery. Wages represent employers offering value in exchange for people's effort to support an existing business. Without the existence of, there is no productive end for an employee to work toward. Ending the restrictions on entry and enabling people to compete in the market in whatever business organizational structure they wish for is the ethical means forward for all. Anything less is forcing a work structure onto all by the violence of the state. Special thank you to all my fiduciaries: CJRoasting.com, Organic Fair Trade Coffee, Crawford K. McDonald of Taggart Atlantic Healthcare, and Beto Destrafa. Help me produce more quality content and receive special perks for your monthly support by joining my Patreon or Subscribestar membership pages. See you soon!
Yes, freeze!